Arsenal have scared Man City. In particular, Pep Guardiola. He's came out and made some comments that I definitely want to get people's opinions on. But not only that, we're going to be speaking about a winger that Arsenal are now being linked with. It's a guy that Arsenal missed out on last season. And now there's rumours coming back out that he might actually be joining Arsenal again. I want to get your thoughts on that. But not only that, Ben White we're going to be speaking about, because he's been slated on national radio, a massive media company slating him once again. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. And of course, I want to get yours as well. Before we get into it though, just very quickly, if you could do me a favour, hit like on this video. So the first thing we're going to get into is this Pep Guardiola story. Just listen to the comments that Pep Guardiola's been making. He's having a dig at Arsenal, Man United as well, but we're going to concentrate on it. Look, yes, many years they've done it, Guardiola said. Many years, but it's not news. It's only news when City spend money. Of course, I am concerned for many years about how good they are, because every year they're better and better. You see Arsenal playing at the same level as last season. I saw the game against Bayer Leverkusen. They are on fire. So you can see Pep Guardiola sees danger in this Arsenal team. Pep Guardiola is definitely worried going forward. And why shouldn't he be? Arsenal was so close. Not only last season, but the season before. 5 points. Last season, 2 points. This could be the season that Arsenal eclipse Pep Guardiola, and he's starting to panic. He's starting to get these little digs in, these little jibes. And like I said, why wouldn't he? Because Man City are losing a big player as well. Let's not forget, Julien Alvarez was a guy who played over 50 games for Man City next season. And from what Pep Guardiola also said in that interview, they're not looking to replace anyone. They're not looking to bring anyone else in. So they're going to be losing a player that was so pivotal for them last season. And like I said, he was right about the Bayer Leverkusen game. Arsenal are playing at such a level now that is impressive. You know, Arsenal are on fire. And that is what you would expect. Arsenal, you know, before this game, had 2 games left before the season starts. So at this point, like now, Arsenal should be playing the type of football you're looking to go into the season with. And that's what we saw against Bayer Leverkusen. And that's exactly what we need to see tomorrow against Lyon. This is the last pre-season game. And Arsenal need to be showing that same form against Bayer Leverkusen. We need to show the form that we're going into the Wolves game with. Arsenal have to win these early games. We've said so many times how important it is Arsenal get these first few wins, because look at the fixtures. We've got Wolves, Brighton, Tottenham, Aston Villa, Man City. Games we can't afford to drop points in. Games we did drop points in last season. I look at Villa. I look at Man City, where maybe we could have gone to the Etihad and tried to win. Again, I still think Arsenal done well there, but there's definitely points that Arsenal need to be picking up early. We can't afford any drop points, and that's why tomorrow is the perfect game for Arsenal to carry on that momentum. Like I said, Lyon are a good side. We're obviously going to be seeing Lacazette back at the Emirates, what would be interesting. Maitland-Niles as well. Ben Rama said this is a team that has good players. This is a team that will have a good team out. And that leaves me asking, you know, what kind of team do Arsenal field against Lyon? Do they go full strength? Are you expecting to see a full strength Arsenal team tomorrow? Or do you think there will be some exclusions from this team? I would like to see Calafiori in the Arsenal side tomorrow. I would like to see Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White. I probably want to see close to what Mikel Arteta's thinking in terms of starting 11. Now, they don't necessarily all have to start at the same time, but I would like to see all of the main players given some minutes. I kind of was worried a couple of weeks ago about maybe how he's going to be using Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka when they do come back to pre-season. But we saw in the last game, they got 45 minutes, so it doesn't seem like they need to be rested even more. So like it seems Mikel Arteta is saying to them, you guys need to be getting straight back into it. You don't have much time to build up. And the fact that they have played so much football last season, the fact they went to the Euros, they played so much football that maybe they didn't need that much rest. So you don't need that much build up to get back to that level you was operating at last season. That's the way I would be looking at it. That's certainly the way I'm hoping it goes. But it'll be interesting. Let me know your thoughts on tomorrow's game. Are you expecting a full team? What team would you go for? In terms of team, I would like to see David Raya. There is a bit of discussion out there on whether Aaron Ramsdale deserves some minutes, and I guess I do kind of understand it. Because if we're not going to sell Aaron Ramsdale, like he hasn't played football like the whole pre-season. Like he was away with England, so he missed the beginning of the pre-season or the tour of pre-season when we was in the US, so he didn't get no game time there. He obviously didn't play the last game because David Raya, that was his first game back. And then we've got this one. So some people are saying if we're going into the season and Aaron Ramsdale is going to be the second choice keeper, maybe we do just need to give him some minutes, because if he is going to play the cup games next season, I guess I kind of do understand the rationale of, give him some minutes, let him try and get some minutes in his legs before you throw him in a Carabao Cup game or an FA Cup game. Let me know if you hold that opinion. I don't know with Aaron Ramsdale. We've had this discussion so many times. I don't know if he's been sold. Would I play him in this game? Probably not, if I'm being honest. Only because I don't think he's going to be Arsenal's second choice goalkeeper next season. I like Ramsdale. So many of us like Ramsdale, but I just don't think it's working out. Again, that's a discussion we've already had. Next, I wanted to speak about Pedro Neto. Not him in particular, but the fact that it's kind of shifted the Mudryk discussion. Like, it's reborn this Mudryk discussion that he could be joining Arsenal. Pedro Neto has joined Chelsea. Before we talk about that, I need someone to try and help me understand how Chelsea can keep spending this much money. Like, I was listening to talksport about 3-4 months ago, and there was financial experts on there saying Chelsea are in massive trouble. The amount of money they spent last season, like, they're going to be banging trouble when the new season starts. The new season hasn't even started yet, and they're still the biggest spenders by a massive amount. Please, someone tell me, how are they able to spend this much money in a window that's definitely been restricted by these financial restrictions that are being placed on teams? Like, we're seeing a much quieter window because of PSR. So how are Chelsea still managing to operate in such an aggressive way? Like, they're looking at 16, 17-year-olds and asking clubs, how much do you want for him? 20 million. Right, we'll give you 35. Right, okay, then we'll take... Like, how are they spending this much money? How are they able to bring in this much talent, this many players? I don't understand it at all. Is it just Chelsea know there's going to be consequences, but they're just looking at it and thinking, right, we know we're going to get in trouble. We're already in trouble, so let's just do it anyway. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only way I can rationalise it. Because they can't spend that much money. Like, they're not they're not the team in the league that has that has the highest revenue. So in terms of outspending, they don't have that much more spending power than these other teams of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Man United. How are they able to spend so much more? Is it the fact that they just don't care about the restrictions, or is there literally something to it that they found a way to get around it? I honestly don't know. If you know that information, let me know. But like I said, Pedro Neto is going to be joining Chelsea as well. I think it's interesting. Does that free up Mudryk to join Arsenal? If I'm being honest, I wouldn't want it. But the discussion out there is maybe Arsenal will go into Chelsea and maybe try and put in a sneaky offer for Mudryk. I can't see that happening. They spent so much money on him. And the player that we've seen at Chelsea last season, he's not worth anywhere near that amount. So why would Arsenal go and pay 40, 50 million to try and help Chelsea out? It's not a profile of player that I like necessarily. I think he definitely has attributes that could benefit this Arsenal team, like that blistering raw pace that we don't have much of. We have a couple of players, but in terms of pace, I think it's good. But you can't just sign a player because he's quicker than everyone else. Like, the player has to have ability. And with Mudryk, I just don't see it. Like, I definitely think there's better wingers out there for Arsenal to go and get. So I'm not dismissing this story necessarily. Let me know your thoughts on it. Would you take Mudryk at Arsenal now that Pedro Neto has gone to Chelsea? Because I've seen the fans out there. Like, I read social media and people are saying I would give Mudryk a chance. I think Mikel Arteta can work wonders with this guy. And I understand, like, if Arteta got Mudryk, I think he definitely would improve him as a player. I think it's something we've seen quite a lot. Arteta gets his hands on a player and then kind of molds them, maybe changes their position, and they have an uptick in form. So I wouldn't be against it necessarily if that's what Mikel Arteta wants to do. But if someone said to me, you've got a chance to bring in Mudryk, would you do it? I would say not now. Not just because he went to Chelsea, but he's struggled a bit in the Premier League, if I'm being honest. He does have attributes, like I said, that I like, but I wouldn't necessarily go for that player. Let me know your thoughts on it. And the final thing I want to talk about is Simon Jordan from talksport slating Ben White again on national radio, saying, he doesn't deserve a chance to play for England again, basically calling him a traitor. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this, but I just can't understand, like, how Ben White gets this much negative press because he didn't want to play for Gareth Southgate. Something obviously happened behind the scenes on that England camp, but people only want to kind of point to Ben White and blame Ben White. Like, it seems like because he doesn't want to play for someone who he's clearly not getting on with, or there's a guy behind the scenes that Ben White had an altercation with, Ben White should still be forced to play for England, or it doesn't matter how Ben White feels. He should always want to go and play for England anyway, which is a bit of a silly argument. This is kind of one of them things where if Ben White plays for your team, or if this situation happens with a player who plays for your team, you back them. But if it's for a rival team, everyone likes to stick the boot in and try and dig a man when he's down. I don't know. I would like to see Ben White back in this England setup. I know people who are not from England say, I don't want Ben White in the England setup. I'd prefer if he's rested on these international breaks. But I think Ben White is England's best right back. I think Kyle Walker is probably slightly past it. Again, I rate Kyle Walker, but I think Ben White is England's best right back. And as an Arsenal fan and an England fan, I would like to see Ben White given a chance for England. And it's just frustrating hearing all these guys coming out and trying to kick Ben White on national radio. I don't really rate it. I don't like hearing it, but let me know your thoughts on it. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. And before you go, like I said, just do me a favor. Hit like on this video. Just like it and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.